What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to be using my best Great League Greninja team, utilizing the bulk from Defense Form Deoxys and Umbreon. Umbreon is our safe swap as well. This team performed extremely well for me. I'm talking triple hard counter teams. We were able to come through and win. Greninja is meant to sweep, and if you give it shield advantage and close it out, it is gonna do wonders. You guys are gonna see some fantastic games against extremely meta lines today. I got a whole lineup of battles for you, so let me know what you guys think about Greninja, because this has been by far the most fun Pokemon to use in a long time. It is weak to Charm, Razor Leaf, and Counter, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun using Greninja. Let's get into it. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Defense Form Deoxys versus Sableye. Bad lead right here. We're going to go ahead and get into that Umbreon safe swap and get ahead on energy. We got a Medicham that comes in. So, already, hard counter lead, hard counter on the safe swap. Now, what's great about Umbreon here is the damage. First of all, the energy gain and the damage difference between Foul Play and Last Resort. What you guys are going to see here is if you can get to, in most situations you can, especially if they only have Ice Punch. If they have Dynamic Punch or Power Up Punch, it's a little bit different, but Ice Punch Psyche is totally fine. 2 Foul Plays and 1 Last Resort is what's going to be able to do it for you here. And as you guys are going to see, I'm going to go ahead and let this go through, as an Ice Punch won't KO my Umbreon with 1 HP in a Dream, and I'm able to get the Last Resort. PvP IVs are obviously very crucial on an Umbreon because of that bulk. So we get ourselves shield advantage, and that is exactly what Greninja needs. Get rid of its hardest counter, in this case a Medicham, and give it 2-to-1 shields and watch what it can do. So we're going to go ahead, no shield everything right here, just overload on energy, do a full healthy farm down, and then let's see what we can do on the back end. We're going to go ahead and look to go for a Thunderbolt right away just to get some chip damage, because I'm near 100 energy, which is cap. You can't go above that. And now we swap into the Greninja, and in comes a Lantern. So, hard counter lead, hard counter safe swap, hard counter in the back, but Greninja doesn't care. We are going to be popping off because we get the boost. That is one of the best things about Greninja, is the spam with Night Slash for the boost, and we are now out of control. I'm going to go ahead and give up shields here, stopping any damage that could be coming through, because Greninja needs to try to take out that Sableye. If I can, I have to give up 2 shields here. We're going to overload on energy. And this is what's so cool about Greninja, is when you are in a position to get a lot of energy, there is nothing the opponent can do. So we're going to go ahead, go for a Night Slash here to finish off the Lantern. In comes the Sableye, and mind you, we are boosted, which means we're going to be able to throw this Night Slash. We're going to get another boost, and they are forced now to throw. Shadow Claw's resisted as well, so they have to throw. And now we're going to have Defense Form Deoxys come in and go for the Thunderbolt, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. I don't care in the comments if you go, I'm always hard countered. If it is not Charm or Razor Leaf, you're gonna be okay. Alright, we have Altaria, triple hard count. I wanted to show you guys that first game. Now, this is a game where there could be anything in the back, and I need to be prepared for stuff like a potential Medicham back there. Yes, that wouldn't make too much sense with Charm damage, right? But Medicham and Altaria is a common pairing, so I'm going to go ahead and swap now into Umbreon here to catch the charge move, because I do want to keep my Defense Form Deoxys alive. So, let's just take account how much energy this Altaria here has, and the fact that it's staying in. Now, we do land a Foul Play, so we're getting it extremely low, and they go for another charge move. So if this is Moonblast, so be it. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. It is Moonblast, so they are out of energy. That's very crucial. And now they bring in a Minty Registeel. So now we know that they have Altaria and they have Registeel. So we got to start critically thinking about what could that third Pokemon be. This Registeel could be the safe swap on the team, and there might be a double steel backline, so it could be a Galarian Stunfisk, for example. And so in this thinking, I'm predicting that, you know what, Greninja might have play in the end game. So we are going to do the exact thing that I have been preaching since day one about Greninja, since we got the announcement that it is getting Water Shuriken and Hydro Cannon, is we're going to give it all of the shields. Greninja, 2 shields versus 3 Pokemon, 2 shields, and the final Pokemon is a Swampert. And Swampert, mind you, in fresh fight, it loses because it doesn't get to Hydro Cannon as fast as a Greninja. Greninja is the fastest Pokemon to get to a Hydro Cannon. This thing is going to get out of control as they will not be able to stop me, but I need to make sure I dance my energy correctly. Remember, Registeel's out of energy and Altaria's out of energy, and Altaria might just have a little bit extra, so we got to be careful, but Registeel's definitely out. So we're going to go ahead and let these Hydro Cannons get blocked. We're going to overload just a bit, just one extra one right there, and now go for the Hydro Cannon. So Greninja is going to be sweeping this game. Boom! Down goes the Swampert, and now they have a very tough decision. What are they going to come in with? Because Greninja is going to take them out. They come in with Altaria, so I'm going to go ahead and overload, and they go in with the Registeel, so I can safely go for the Night Slash now. Decide to, it's going to KO either way, it doesn't really matter. And now one more fast move here, and we take out Altaria. So Greninja in a 1v3 situation, and like I said, if there are no Razor Leaf, Counter, or Charm, Greninja can pop off, which is either going to shift the meta, where we see a lot more Razor Leafers and Charmers again, or Greninja is just going to be a part of it. Now, they had an Alolan Sand, good game to my opponent right there. They had a Alolan Sandslash here on the lead, and they swap in a Medicham. So now my thinking here is this could be a very strong meta team, which is Alolan Sandslash, Medicham, and Azumarill. So in order to play to that, I need to keep Defense Form Deoxys alive, and I need to come in with Umbreon here, which is very counterintuitive if you're looking at the face value of the matchups. But again, I think there is a Azumarill in the back, so I need to utilize Umbreon to get rid of Medicham because Defense Form Deoxys with Thunderbolt does a lot better. Now we get a shield right there as well, which is beautiful, so we're going to go ahead and go for another Foul Play. And this is why Umbreon, like we've seen in the previous battle, it's not that bad of a matchup versus a Medicham because you can force a shield in this situation, especially if you have PvP IVs. So the Ice Punch, and there's the Azumarill right there that does decide to come in. So we're going to go ahead and look to go for Last Resorts. Now that Medicham is hiding in the back, has a little bit of energy, but it's very low on health. So we do land a Last Resort. We're going to go ahead and go into the Defense Form Deoxys because a Greninja against a Alolan Sandslash, it resists Charms. And if we can come in against the Azumarill and load up on energy, we're going to be able to sweep. So we're going to go ahead and go for Thunderbolts now. This does super effective damage, really nice, but it doesn't KO an Azumarill at this health. But we get the final shield anyways, which is beautiful right here. Now Greninja has the door wide open to sweep this game. So I'm going to go ahead and look to shield. It is going to be Hydro Pump. I'm going to overload on energy because I think they might be swapping here, which they do, and they come in with Sand Slash. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt now. And now I have to go into Greninja, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and actually swap in, sorry, not Greninja, Umbreon. I'm going to go into Umbreon here to force their hand on energy because I could get to a Foul Play. So the Ice Punch does come through. And now I am concerned about the energy that they do have on Greninja, so I'm going to come, or on Alolan Sandslash, so I'm going to come in with Greninja and just tank this Drill Run. It's going to hurt, it does a lot of neutral damage, but overall I think we're going to be okay as Drill Run does land, and now we have a lot of energy. Let's see what they decide to come in with. It is going to be Medicham. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go for Night Slash. There's no shields left. This is going to be KOing. And let's see if we get the boost as well. No boost. But we do see the Azumarill come in, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon. And mind you, even though this is resisted, it's going to still do a good amount of damage. And the Azumarill is going to be forced to throw energy as well. But I do get to a Night Slash in time. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Not enough to KO, but they do throw the charge move. And an Azumarill cannot have back-to-back charge moves. It is impossible to have, especially with player of Hydro Pump, so we just come in and go for the Psycho Boost, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So this team has the flexibility against meta teams. You guys are going to see more meta teams today. All right, we got a good game. We got a Pelipper now on the lead. So very positive right here for me, especially since I do have Thunderbolt. And I'm worried that there might, I don't know what they have in the back, but they do swap in, and they swap into a Dunsparce. So now my thinking is if they safe swap a Dunsparce, right, to catch the charge move, they probably have something else weak to counter in the back. And most people would assume Galarian Stunfisk or Registeel, right? So we're gonna play to that and utilize our Greninja in that fashion. So now I'm gonna go for the Psycho Boost here to take out the Dunsparce because I want to save a little bit of energy. It is going to be enough neutral damage. And then now we're going to look to go into the Umbreon here soon. They decide to throw, which is totally fine by me. I'm going to let this go, hoping it's just going to be a Weather Ball. But it was a Hurricane. So unfortunately, we died with a lot of energy. But that's okay. We can come in with Umbreon now. Again, hard reading that there's a Galarian Stunfisk or a Registeel in the back, and that Greninja will be able to handle that. So we're just going to go for foul plays now in this matchup. Dwindle down the Pelipper. Totally fine with them throwing charge moves. I do not care. Let it all come through. It is going to be the Hurricane. And now we're going to see if they decide to swap, but they don't, so I can get a free foul play off right here, and maybe they decide to let this go. If they decide to shield, so be it. But they let it go. Final Pokemon, it's Galarian Stunfisk. Good call right there, because again, you gotta look at what your opponent is doing and not doing. I've said this for months, if not years. My opponent swapped the Dunsparce in with the Pelipper lead, so their hope was to bait out a fighter like a Medicham. And in this case, looking to sweep with a Galarian Stunfisk, but Greninja is going to make quick work of it right here as we can safely double shield, and we're going to be able to outpace. We will get to 3 Hydro Cannons before they can get to 3 Rock Slides. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Greninja sweeping once again. It's a beautiful sight to see. It's so satisfying. I did Ultra League as well today, but that video will be for tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. It's very fun in the Ultra League as well. Good game. All right, let's go ahead and get Defense Form Deoxys now versus Lantern. So this is kind of tough because Lantern just does well against our whole team. Obviously, we want to keep it away from the Greninja, but it does very well. And with a Lantern, it is very typical that players that use Lantern also use Noctowl and Medicham. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Like, it's just the way it is, right? If someone's got a Lantern on their team, they also got Noctowl and Medicham. That's just exactly how they're playing. So we're going to play to that and hopefully predict that we will be able to win based off of these decisions. Now, we got a shield right there, which was really nice. And we're going to look to go for a Psycho Boost here. And my hope now is to potentially draw out the Medicham with the Umbreon if I can get it. So I'm going to try to go for one more Psycho Boost now, looking to force that final shield if I can get it, but I do think the Lantern is going to be able to survive, which they do. So miscalculated on my damage there, unfortunately, but I did do the double chip, which is totally fine. And now I'm thinking, you know what? I need to come in with Greninja here and load up on energy. This is a risky call. I was hoping I'd be able to farm down before the Surf, but they do get to it in time. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta give up a shield. Greninja with this much energy needs to be utilized to its maximum effect. And they do have a Medicham that decides to come in. So we're gonna go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannons here. This does about 50% HP. So we get the first one. We're gonna go for Night Slash now for the shield bait and potential boost. Let's see if we get it. Get the shield. Do we get the boost? We get the boost. We go for another Night Slash. Greninja is out of control. We do land the Night Slash, but the Medicham hangs on and they swap into Noctowl. I counter swap into Umbreon, but unfortunately that Medicham stayed alive. Oh man, it lived with 1 HP in a dream, which is so unfortunate. Now we have Umbreon versus the Noctowl here. So we're going to try to do as much damage as possible. But this Noctowl is slightly ahead on energy, which might come to a disadvantage for us. But let's see if we can pull this off. We're going to go ahead and, man, this is going to be so close. We're going to try to see if we can get to 2 more foul plays before they get to another Sky Attack, which is going to be the key here. So let's see if we can get it. 1, 2. No, we don't. That extra fast move that they got was critical for them, which means the Umbreon now hangs on with 1 HP in a dream. So the only Pokemon left in this game is a 1 HP Greninja, a 1 HP Umbreon, and a 1 HP Medicham, and that is going to be a good game. I mean, it doesn't get closer than that, right? So good game to my opponent. Unfortunately, I was a bit late on the swap in with Umbreon because I did the fast attack with Greninja, which ultimately led to that loss, but good game. All right, we got Medicham here on the lead, so a very somewhat neutral lead, but good for us. And they swap in a Charizard, so we're going to go ahead and bring in that Greninja, and this fast move damage gets out of control, especially against a Charizard. It is so good, a Shadow Charizard, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Dragon Claw, overload a bit, and now go for Night Slash. This is free reign to go for Night Slashes here because of the raw neutral damage that it can do paired with the fast move. They decide to shield, which is totally fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and double shield, and let's see if we can get that healthy farm down. I don't think I'm going to be able to right here, just looking. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to, but we do have a lot of energy, which is going to play really well for us. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Night Slash. They let it go. Medicham's going to be coming back in, obviously, so we're going to go ahead and go for a Hydro Cannon just to do as much damage as possible. And Greninja is basically going to be going down right here. We hope to get to another charge move, but it's not going to happen, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and go Defense Form Deoxys. They come in knocked out right here. So now we have an opportunity to get a shield, and we also have an opportunity to potentially catch a Shadow Ball. So now we go for Thunderbolt. They decide to let it go. I decide to swap into Umbreon right away. Since they did let it go, I want to get ahead on energy as quickly as possible, and now they're free to go for Sky Attacks, which is fine. I didn't want to risk, after the Thunderbolt landed, really trying to catch the charge move, right? Because we're ahead in terms of health. So Sky Attack now, not doing too much damage. 2 Foul Play should be enough to take this out, as we do have them ready to go. Noctowl is going to be forced to shield here. If they don't, it's basically a good game. They do shield, but we do have another one ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it, but they swap into Medicham, which is very interesting because they banked a Shadow Ball now on the Noctowl, but thankfully the Defense Form Deoxys has enough health where it can survive a Shadow Ball. It is Defense Form, after all. So Ice Punch here, not enough to take us out. We do have the Foul Play ready to go. We're going to undercharge this a bit because I want Medicham to stay alive so that I can come in with Defense Form Deoxys and counter down. That way I have a Psycho Boost, or should be able to get to a Psycho Boost here against the Noctowl. Again, it did bank. They did a great job saving this energy here with Shadow Ball, but it's not enough. It's just not enough to KO Defense Form Deoxys, and we do have the Psycho Boost ready to go. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Boom. Down it goes. This team, I'm telling you guys, it was so much fun to use. All right, we got Deoxys now versus Deoxys. Okay. We got to see what they have in the back, but if I'm being honest, if there's a Defense Form Deoxys on the lead this week with Greninja, it's paired with a Greninja like 9 out of 10 times, right? Just because they are such a good pairing together because of the coverages and the bulk. It's a very nice combination, a very nice core. So we're going to go ahead and just go for Thunderbolts here. I want to try to keep my Defense Form Deoxys alive if I can. So they decide to swap. They keep it alive as well, but they catch... Man, they catch the Thunderbolt on a Nidoqueen. What a beautiful catch by the opponent. But now I'm going to go ahead and go for Psycho Boost. That way I get an advantage right here. And then we're going to come in with Umbreon. Greninja might be the call, right, because of the water typing. But Poison Jabs and Poison Fangs from a Nidoqueen is not something to mess around with. We're going to go ahead and let the charge move go through. It is going to be Earth Power. Does a good amount of damage. But now Foul Play should be enough to almost KO. And we might be able to farm down. It's going to be pretty close. Yeah, this is kind of risky. We're going to look to go for the full farm down if we can. And this is going to be a Poison Fang as well, so we can let this go. And this is, oh man, this is where we really risk it right here. I'm going for the hard farm down, and we don't get it. It's a simultaneous KO, unfortunately. So now I got to see what my opponent decides to come in with. They don't come in right away, so I'm going to go ahead and come in, and it's going to be an Umbreon in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and swap now into Greninja and get ahead on energy. And the hardest hitting moves left in this game is going to be coming from the Defense Form Deoxys. So we got a shield though. Last Resort still does a good amount of damage, but the Defense Form Deoxys basically has one charge move. And I think if I time this correctly, I could CMP tie them. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon. We're going to overload on energy. They decide to swap in when I have 2 charge moves ready to go. That was a slight mistake by my opponent because now I got the boost as well. I can safely shield here. And this is going to be a good game, very well played. Unfortunately for them, Night Slash now. This is what I love about Greninja, is that Night Slash boost potential, because it then becomes an absolute monster. And as you guys will see, Last Resort is not enough to KO. So we can safely let this go. And then, well, I mean, we don't have any shields anyways. We're going to survive, is what I'm meaning. And Hydro Cannon now is going to be enough to take out the Umbreon. That is going to be a good game. Boom. Very well played. Alright, getting into the final battle here, we have Defense Form Deoxys versus Noctowl. So, somewhat of a neutral matchup right here. Obviously, we have to watch out for the Shadow Ball, but like you've seen before, Shadow Ball doesn't do enough to KO. So, I'm going to go ahead and go for Thunderbolt here. But I am concerned that they might have a Medicham and Lantern in the back, so I want to keep Defense Form Deoxys a bit healthy, so we will shield that first Shadow Ball. Now, Thunderbolt here, let's see if they decide to let it go through. They don't. They decide to shield. Okay, now this is an opportunity for us to potentially swap into Umbreon, but they throw a bit early. I'm thinking, you know what? That actually might be a Shadow Ball. So now I have to let it go. It's not worth giving up 2 shields this early, and they do decide to swap into Quagsire. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Greninja right here. It has a pretty decent matchup, but I am concerned that they might have a Medicham still in the back. But it's very interesting that they decide to swap a Quagsire. It's one of the riskier things, right? Something completely weak to grass, but to be fair, there hasn't been a lot of grass-type Pokemon. So now we can safely go for a Night Slash after they let the Hydro Cannon go through. And this is where Greninja just is so nasty. We get shield number 2. Now we're going to be able to outpace them to the next charge move. So we're going to go ahead and shield, stop that Mud Bomb, and we should be able to get to a Night Slash plus 1 more fast move right here before they get to Mud Bomb. And now Noctowl's also out of energy. You guys got to remember that. And we should be able to get to a Hydro Cannon in time. So let's see what they decide to come in with. It is going to be the Noctowl, so we should be able to get to this Hydro Cannon. We do get to it in time, and this is coming from a Greninja, so this should be enough to KO. Boom. Nope, not enough. But we do fast move down anyways. And the final Pokemon is a Galarian Stunfisk. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in with Defense Form Deoxys. I have a lot of energy. So what I'm going to look to do is kind of do a wombo combo here. I'm going to go for 1 Psycho Boost, because the Psycho Boost does resisted damage, but it also applies that debuff to me. And whenever you swap out, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now into Umbreon, that debuff, that attack debuff, is now cleared. So any Pokemon that you have, whether it's a boost, like with Night Slash, or it's a debuff, it gets cleared when you swap it out of combat, which is very important because Umbreon here in this matchup against Galarian Stunfisk will be able to get it low enough where the Defense Form Deoxys here at the end can go for 1 Psycho Boost to close this game out, because the Galarian Stunfisk should be able to get to 2 Earthquakes and 1 Rock Slide against us. But I will be able to get to 2 more Foul Plays in order to get it to that critical range, right, for the Psycho Boost. So we're going to go ahead and go for the double Foul Play. They're going to be forced to throw right here. And again on CMP tie, which is totally fine because now the Galarian Stunfisk is within range where I can safely come in, go for 1 counter and a Psycho Boost. And that is going to be a good game, very well played. This team is extremely, extremely fun. And like I said, as long as there is no like double Charmer or what have you, which it's possible, right? I'm not... Some of y'all out there love running Bastiodon, Shadow Victory Bell, and a Shadow Charmer. You guys exist. But it's not common. It's much more common to see Noctowl, Sableye, and Lantern or Medicham, those kind of Pokemon like we saw today, which is why this team did so well. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about Greninja. Man, I love it. It's so much fun. So, like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.